Like I said, I've got the card. But anyway, we are live. Welcome to an exciting, well, we're always exciting, but an even more exciting down the middle because we have predictions for Double or Nothing. And we're not going to waste any time except, Bryon, you wrestled 2 matches on a very special show today. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Things are just being a little wonky right now.
Okay. Oh, did you freeze? I think he's frozen. I need to check one.
Are we back?
All right. Back. Audio-wise, yes. Oh, there you are.
Sorry about that, guys.
Nope, it's all good. Although your video's still a little lagging, but we can hear you. Nope, I believe we've lost you again.
Okay, maybe.
Oh, there we go. We got you.
Maybe.
Yep.
Maybe.
I got you now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
It's a little patooey today.
It's all good. But I was just letting the fans know you wrestled in a very special show today. If you would like to tell them a little bit about that.
So today I wrestled in the Kurt Acid Benjamin Memorial Show today, where it was legends and family members that wrestled the show, and I had the opportunity to wrestle in 2 matches. I wrestled in the Kurt Acid Memorial Battle Royal for the Cup, and yours truly won it. I had another match later that night. I'd show you the cup, but I don't have it with me right now. Next time I'll have it.
There we go. That's something to look forward to, wrestling fans.
Slicked hair back and everything. It's got his look.
I was gonna say in honor of the great Mr. Acid.
The Boat, as people called him.
The Boat. Well, we're gonna get right into Double or Nothing now. I will say I was really excited for this pay-per-view. And then they added 2 matches on Rampage, and I'm just like, okay. And I made the mistake. I found out it was going to be in select movie theaters. And I also found out that by going to the movie theater, it was going to be half the price. Movie theater ticket was $25, pay-per-view is $50.
Really?
Yeah, so I said, fuck it, I'll go to the theater, because I found out I'm off work on Monday. So normally when these pay-per-views are on Sundays, I have to finish it on Monday night because I got to go to sleep. But now I don't. But like I said, I bought the ticket at the movie theater and then they added 2 more matches. So now I'm like, this pay-per-view has 13 matches on it. It was already going to be long. So I'm afraid now because one of 2 things is going to happen. Either this thing's going to be insanely long, or more than likely, a lot of these matches are going to be short. And or bad. Squash? But there are no squash matches on here. The only one that could be a squash match is on the pre-show, and it's the only one on the pre-show, which is an hour. Or usually is an hour. What the fuck are they thinking?
I guess. Are they trying to compete and be like the WrestleMania now?
I don't know, but even so, I'm honestly dreading it a little bit. Like, some of these matches are going to be really good, but I mean, just the overall experience. I mean, it starts at 7. I don't think I'm going to get out of there until like 1 a.m.
It's
I'm scared, man. But anyway, speaking of the pre-show, we'll get right into it. The first match will feature Hookhausen versus Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling. Now, don't get me wrong, I like me some Smart Mark. I think this match is probably gonna be I think Hook and Nese will do most of the work. I think Danhausen up to this point has been an embarrassment for Danhausen fans. I just, the way they've handled Danhausen with as much hype as he came in with, I think they've shit the bed with him, and I think it's beyond repair.
Yeah, I think they could have done a little bit better with Denhausen, because if you watch some of his Ring of Honor stuff and before his Ring of Honor stuff, the guy can actually wrestle.
Yeah, I know. I've saw some of his Ring of Honor stuff, and admittedly, I'm not a big fan of the character, but it's not my cup of, I'm not shitting on it, but it's just not it's not the wrestling I like to watch. But I've even said multiple times on the program, it's like, okay, but if you're going to book Danhausen, there's a way you can do it. But they've already ruined him. That little skit he did with Hook, it made Hook look cool, made Danhausen look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah. I mean, I can agree. I don't think Danhausen, unless they swerve us and like they have Danhausen work most of the match, because we haven't seen what Danhausen can really do. You know what I mean?
I agree and disagree, but not. I don't disagree with you, but here's the reason why I say I disagree. They could do that. I think that would be. It would be good for Danhausen. It would be bad for wrestling in general because, like I said, they've already ruined the character. And I'm not blaming Danhausen for any of this. This is strictly AEW's creative, because they took a guy who had a lot of hype and still has a lot of fans somehow, and they made him look like a fucking idiot. Because they've already taken away the curse because it didn't work on the only person he's tried to curse so far. So we know that's phony. And I mean, we know it's phony, but now, like, even as a viewer who's buying into what I'm seeing, I know it's phony. It's done. It's over with. And in his debut match, he got the shit kicked out of him in seconds and got saved by, I don't remember how old Hook is. He's in his 20s, though. Was he 21? 20, I don't remember.
Like 20, yeah.
Yeah. But so Danhausen gets the shit kicked out of him in like 15 seconds and then gets saved by somebody significantly younger and less experienced than him. Like, I don't know. I think, and this is a problem I've had with AEW for a while. Pretty much since it started, the show's been bipolar. Because in one segment, you'll have a super serious, like, sports-based, like anything that had Cody Rhodes in it up until the very end, when he started listening to Brandy, I would say. Like, Cody's stuff was straight and legit, especially anything he did with Dustin. Like, the program between him and Dustin was legit. And then in the very next segment, you've got Orange Cassidy, which I'm not shitting on Orange Cassidy, but you see what I'm getting at? Like, it's bipolar. And they're only making it work. But now the zany shit's taken over a little bit more. But then, so conversely, I'll use Rampage as an example. Not this week's, last week's. Well, I don't remember what was on last week's, but I'm referencing the Danhausen thing. So you have the Danhausen match,
Okay,
but then later on in the night, you'll have something involving a member of the Blackpool Combat Club, or like a Bryan Danielson match. It's like one of these things is not like the other. And I don't know how you could see the one thing that WWE has over AEW.
I could definitely agree.
Yeah, well, and here's the difference though. So AEW's got a lot of talent, but WWE has a lot of interchangeable talent. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to use Nikita. Well, oh, and that reminds me, not to get off topic here, but I was incorrect, and I want to apologize to the viewers. Nikita Lyons is not the daughter of Santina Marella, which I said on the program. His daughter is in NXT. I forget her name, but it is not Nikita Lyons. I don't remember where I got that. I got it somewhere on the internet.
I thought it was Nikita Lyons too.
I know, I did too. I don't remember where I saw that, but it's not her. It's I'm gonna look it up real quick because now it's bothering me. Because she is in NXT, but it's not Nikita. Oh, let's see here. Let's see.
I'm not sure. I thought it was Nikita Lyons too.
No, his daughter.
I'd always seen.
His daughter's ring name is Ariana Grace.
Really?
Yeah. So I apologize, but the reason I bring her up, and it reminded me, is I'm gonna use her as an example. So let's say you wanted to boost NXT ratings for one night, and I know she's injured, but it's a hypothetical. Nikita Lyons is really popular right now for some reason that I don't understand. And I'm not shitting on her, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
So, but you take Nikita Lyons and name me one female wrestler on WWE's roster that would not at least have an okay match with her. Like, name me one person where it just wouldn't make sense.
Tamina.
Oh, are you kidding? I think that would look great. I think that'd be great. Tamina, is that what you said? Do what?
Tamina, yeah.
You don't think that would make sense?
I don't know. I don't think they. I don't know. I'm not really shitting on Tamina, but I don't really care for her, and she's came and gone so much in the last 10 years. I don't know. It's kind of hard to see her in a singles match anymore.
Okay, I got you. It still proves my point because you've arguably made the best decision in picking kind of the worst case scenario. But compare it to this. So on NXT Wednesday night, you have Nikita Lyons versus Tamina Snuka. It's not going to be match of the year, but from a story perspective, it would make sense. Now, let's say that on AEW Dynamite, they decide, and our main event tonight, Bryan Danielson versus Danhausen.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to take that seriously.
I see where you're getting with that, but Bryan Danielson would definitely go with it and work with it to make it work.
But it would be detrimental to Bryan Danielson because if he sells for Danhausen, it takes away any and all credibility, which they have done very well with Danielson. They've made him look legitimate. They've made him look like a star. If he gets in there and starts selling for Danhausen, who has on their own television show shown that he can't do a pull-up, like, come on. It's ridiculous.
Okay. It's one of them give and take type of things. I see where you're getting at with it.
On an indie show, sure, but there's not an ongoing storyline like there is in AEW. Like, that match should, if it was booked with any kind of... And again, I'm not knocking Danhausen. I'm speaking strictly of how they've both been booked up to this point. I'm sure they could have a match. Like, they can do it. But it wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't make any sense for Bryan Danielson today in AEW and Danhausen today in AEW for Danhausen to be anywhere near competitive.
Yeah, that's something I see where you're getting with it now.
Yeah, I'm not talking about work rate because I'm sure Bryan Danielson can have a match with anybody. You know, I'm just talking about strictly how they've been booked, But anywho, back to... Oh, go ahead.
My pick, I think it's going to be Hook and Danhausen, honestly.
Probably. I think they're going to win, but like I said, I think you're going to see... I'll go in depth. You're probably going to see Danhausen somehow distract Tony Nese, and then Hook's going to be able to capitalize on it and get the win. Either that, or somehow, some way, Danhausen's going to keep Tony Nese busy on the outside when Mark Sterling's the legal man, and then Hook's just going to roast him.
Yeah.
Either that, and I hope they don't do this, but if Hook puts a curse on somebody, I mean, not Hook, Danhausen. And I'll be the only one in the theater who audibly groans. Everybody else will be like, yeah, Danhausen. And I'll just be like, fuck. My inner Jim Cornette will come out.
You really starting to sound like Carl from Jimmy Neutron from a minute.
I have no idea who that is.
Okay.
They will, though. They'll get Cheeto dust shaken out of their neck beards. Woo, Danhausen cursed somebody. Anyway, so we both agree that Hookhausen's probably going to win. I don't really see how they can keep it straight unless Hook and Tony Nese do a weird double injury thing where they both fall to the floor and get knocked out, and then it's Smart Mark and Hook.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way you can keep it straight. But anyway, moving on. The next match, which is, and like I said, apparently that's the only match in the pre-show. So there's probably going to be some sort of surprise thing, I would think. And also, this isn't listed, but shouldn't they be doing a battle royal of some kind? They normally do at pay-per-views.
Yeah.
It's not been announced, but...
Yeah, usually they do, if I remember right, too.
Yeah, but a casino battle royal, they should be doing one.
See.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. It's not listed on the card, but I wouldn't be surprised. And that would make sense because, like I said, that's the pre-show, so that's an hour. So it's either going to be one match and a bunch of...
They do it.
Yeah, it's either going to be one match and a lot of talking heads just to fill time, which I think would be a mistake for the pre-show, or there's going to be a battle royal and they just... Which wouldn't that be fucking hilarious if they forgot to announce their casino battle royal? But anyway, the first... And I don't know necessarily that they'll be in this order, but it seems like it'll be in this order, so... Next match, we have Darby Allin versus Kyle O'Reilly. This is one of the matches that was announced on Rampage because Kyle O'Reilly took out Sting. This should be awesome.
It sounds like it'd be a really good match. I don't think we've ever seen these two in a ring before, if I remember right.
I don't believe so. Certainly not in a singles match.
So... No. So I think this is definitely going to be a good match, and I can't wait to see it. I think Darby Allin. It's that curse he got me with. I think Darby will get the win. Honestly,
I disagree. I think O'Reilly will get the win, but with interference from the Undisputed Elite.
I feel like that would be the only way for Kyle O'Reilly to win.
I agree because they're protecting Darby and they should. But like I said, I think it'll be close. But I think Darby's going to get the leg up, and then the Undisputed Elite are going to jump in and help.
Yeah, and I feel like they're going to attack Sting at ringside too.
Yeah, probably. Either that or they're going to have interference and then Sting's going to miraculously be okay and make the save and then Darby would get the win. But I think O'Reilly will win with some cheating. Which is kind of a letdown for a pay-per-view, but I understand why they're doing it because it's about the only way you can have O'Reilly win and keep Darby's integrity, I guess. Because they're protecting Darby. And if you recall, the last pay-per-view, he lost to MJF, but MJF cheated. So, which that match kicked ass too.
Yeah, I feel like he's. Yeah, I feel like Darby's will. Yeah, I feel like Darby's will get some kind of big push in the near future.
Yeah, big time. Like I say, he's one of the four pillars. He's got all the time in the world, and they've been doing stuff with him right. I think putting him with Sting was a really, really good decision. And thus far, the way he's been booked, I really don't have any complaints other than I wish he would stop doing so much crazy shit. Because he's going to fucking die.
I mean, if Jeff Hardy's still around, he can be around still.
Have you seen the man walk?
That's true.
I mean, no hate whatsoever. Kudos. This is probably from listening to too much Jim Cornette, honestly, because he makes good points a lot of the time. It's like, it does pain me to see him do those crazy dives, and he does them so well, but it's painful to watch when he does them on, like, a Rampage.
Yes. It's like saving for the big events.
It's saving his back is what it's doing. I mean, your finisher is the coffin drop. I mean, it's literally falling on your back. So it's like, I mean, great matches, but I'd like to see more of them. So I'd like to see a lot more of them.
You know, wrestling logic, they always say your bump card's always so long.
Yeah.
He's shortening his by years and years. The more big bump he does.
Well, and the crazy thing here is it's not even like there's a set amount. Like, it only takes one. I forget who said that. It was a wrestler who said it. It was like, it only takes one. I think it was Edge, actually. I could be wrong on that, but you know, you could do 1,000 bumps the same way, but you just shift a millimeter and all of a sudden you land on a vertebrae and it's over. So I really, really hope that, I was about to say Jungle Boy. I really hope that Darby starts picking his spots. And I think putting him with Sting has helped him do that, honestly. Because I gotta believe that Sting is in his...
I feel like Sting's really...
Yeah, I gotta believe that Sting's in his ear being like, Darby, listen, you're the best at what you do. Wouldn't you like to do it for another 20, 30 years? Like, slow down, man. Oh. Lost your video, sir. Oh, there you are.
Yeah. I'm having a little troubles on my end. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all good. It's all good. Do you have any other thoughts on Darby Allin versus O'Reilly?
Honestly, no. I feel like it's going to be definitely a top contender match of the night. I feel like that one could be.
That's fair. That's fair. Next, we've got the other match that was added on Rampage, which, here's a fun fact. So, I had the card printed out from AEW's official website, mind you. And I printed it out this morning, Saturday morning. These two matches were not on AEW's official website yet. The Darby Allin one and then this one, which were both added on Rampage. Still not on the site. We got Frankie Kazarian, Sammy Guevara, and Ty Conti versus the Men of the Year, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, and Paige Van Zant in a mixed tag match. I don't necessarily think this match is going to be bad, necessarily, but I question why it's there.
Honestly, before we went live, I had just seen that was added too, and I got to thinking, I'm like, why? It's something that just doesn't make sense right now.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I think I know why, and if I'm right, it's a really bad reason. I think they want to do Paige Van Zant's, like, in-ring debut, but on a pay-per-view? When she's never wrestled on television before? And I'm sorry, I've never seen what I would call a stellar mixed tag match, like, ever. Not that they've been bad,
yeah,
but I've never seen one that was going to be a match of the year candidate.
No.
And, go ahead.
Unless they have unless they have a lot of hope in her and they see something big in her, which I've seen. I've watched a couple videos and seen where she's done her training. She's not bad.
Oh, no.
It's a whole different perspective. It's a whole different perspective of when you're training around a couple people, and then now you're debuting in front of thousands of people.
And I mean, here's the thing. If they wanted to debut Paige on a pay-per-view, and I'm so not knocking Ty Conti because I like Ty Conti, but I would think this is pretty risky. Because even if she's been doing well in training, and Jade Cargill can attest to this, it's different, and I imagine you can too. It's different when you get out there. So I would think they would want to debut her with somebody like a Serena Deeb or somebody with just a lot more experience who could help cover her if and when she makes mistakes and can lead her through the match. Not saying Ty can't, but I think there are better options. Or a Ruby Soho or even a Britt Baker now, but probably more like a Ruby Soho, Serena Deeb. I'm blanking on some. But yeah, and then plus the fact too, we have the TNT champion in a mixed tag match, but not defending his title.
Yeah. And like it's kind of like the Darby Allin Sting situation. Like she needs that air piece to be like, hey, try this, or hey, maybe you should work the crowd this way, or if she's in a blank spot during the match, that she has an extra earpiece there to be like, hey, you need to go do this, or hey, tell her to do this to you so we can get to this point.
Yep, I agree. Or even if you're gonna, no, I hope it's not bad. I hope they all and the entire match exceeds expectations, but I don't know. I think if any match is going to be a stinker unintentionally, it's probably going to be this one. Now, that being said, you've got Sammy, you've got Scorpio, and you've got Ethan Page in there, and they're all phenomenal, so I'm not worried about anything on their end. And you got Kazarian. How could I forget Frankie Kazarian? I also don't think you'll see too much of the girls in this match. Yeah. I think they'll be, and that might be their secret. Like they're gonna do a couple of things, and then I think for the most part, it's gonna be mostly Sammy and Frankie mainly going up against Scorpio Sky. At least that's how I would book it. But
yeah, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree anymore on that one because it's like you can get her in, do a couple of spots, and you can get her out real quick.
Yeah. Now that being said, I don't think a pay-per-view is the place to do it. I think she should debut on Rampage because she's a big enough star.
I agree on that one.
Yeah, she's a big enough star. She's got enough name value that she shouldn't be debuting on Dark or Elevation, but I think Rampage is more appropriate. That's just me personally. Yeah. And again, I'm not knocking her at all. That's just my 2 cents. I do want to take a moment. I think I've been proven right yet again. A while back, Ben and I were talking about the TNT title, and I said, I like the fact that every TNT champion has like a stylized belt. I know a lot of people are shitting on it, but I actually liked it a lot. And I thought they weren't doing that anymore, but then lo and behold, Scorpio Sky gets his custom TNT title belt, and I like it.
Really?
I like it.
Honestly, I have not seen it yet.
Here's the thing. I shouldn't like it, but on Scorpio Sky, I do. It's a gold leather belt. It looks very similar to the old one, but gold leather, and then instead of the red trimming, it's purple.
Really?
It looks good. I dig it.
I'll have to look at it.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be wearing it tomorrow night.
Now, I see. Just because it's Paige's debut, I see that team winning.
Probably.
Scorpio Sky.
Probably. And here's the other reason. Well, I don't know if you're aware of the stipulation. The stipulation is that if American Top Team wins, both Sammy Guevara and Frankie Kazarian will never be able to challenge for the TNT title ever again.
Which is I'm okay with.
You know what? I am too.
Sammy's had a TNT title.
I'm okay with this, and I would like, from a storyline perspective, I would like to see American Top Team win. I don't know that they will, though. I want them to win, but something tells me that Sammy, Frankie, and Ty are going to somehow, some way get the win.
Unfortunately, I could see it happening too, but I still got to go with Paige and them.
Yeah, I want them to win, but I'm predicting that Sammy, Frankie, and Ty will get the win somehow, and it'll probably be stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, any other thoughts on this match before we hang out? Oh, God, I forgot this was even on the card. Any other thoughts on this match before we move on?
No, sir.
And again, this next match isn't going to be bad, but I question why it's on a pay-per-view. We've got the House of Black versus Death Triangle. Again, it's not going to be a bad match, but why is it here? I mean, this could easily be the main event on a Dynamite on any given week, and it would be fine.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Now, that being said, it'll be awesome, but this pay-per-view is already going to be so long. And you know this isn't going to be a quick match.
Matches?
Yeah. It's not going to be a quick match either. It's a trios match with the fucking Lucha Brothers in it. I mean, it's not going to be short. And nor should it be, because this is a rivalry that's ongoing. This can't be a squash match.
No, not at all.
And here's the other thing. I don't particularly care who wins in this match. I think Death Triangle might, just to kind of, because this is another thing. This rivalry has kind of, it's overcooked. This should cap it.
Yeah.
I don't really know where we're heading, and I don't think they know either. I think they just know that with the majority of the AEW fan base, and this isn't a knock, it's just an observation, if you put the Lucha Brothers in a match, they're probably going to be into it. I know I am.
Probably.
I know I am, but strictly from a storytelling perspective, I don't understand why we're doing this at a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But who's your prediction for the winners of this contest?
Honestly, I'm not sure with this one.
Well, and half of me is like, I don't really even care.
Really not sure.
Oh,
Goodness.
If House of Black wins, it'll be another missed spot.
Yeah. I feel like House of Black will probably win if I had to choose one of them.
Yeah, like I said, and again, I love the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon in particular, but I'm not psyched for this match. It'll be good. I'm not even going to say it's going to be okay, because it'll be a good match. And I love I keep saying Aleister Black, Malachi Black. I love Malachi Black. Love Penta. Love Phoenix. I did notice Buddy Matthews looks a lot bigger on AEW TV than he did in NXT.
Yeah.
He looks a lot bigger. I was like, damn, son, where'd you get those roids? He's looking like Adam Rose over there. Fuck.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, he's earthquaking.
Am I? Where to go?
I don't know. I can still see you. It's just narrower now.
Everything's messing up on my end.
I don't know. I can still hear you. We can still go. For the benefit of the audio listeners, we can still go while you're figuring out the screen. But next, we have the finals of the Women's Owen Hart Tournament featuring Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Ruby Soho. Now, before we get into this match, I will say I literally just watched this match on Rampage. Boy, that crowd was pissed that Statlander lost. And I don't blame them.
Yeah, yeah, I was pretty pissed off about that one too.
Like, here's another reason, like, I don't know who's responsible for booking AEW lately. Like, I know Tony Khan holds the pencil, as it were, but there are other people involved. Like, you had this was so obviously should have been Statlander because you had the character change, you had her building momentum. And not knocking Ruby Soho, but she's not been doing much as of late. Oh, really? You can't? Can you not hear me?
Hear me?
I can still hear you.
Can you see me?
Yep.
It's still working?
Yeah.
Yeah, on my end, it's your audio's kind of lagging out on me.
I figured there was
real hard.
I figured there was a lag because I've kind of been giving you some time to respond, but yeah, all I know is that if I was booking this shit,
I'm trying to hear what I can from what you're saying, and so I'm doing the best I can. So if you don't hear me for a while, just move on. I'll catch up eventually.
Got it. But anyway, the match for the finals of the Owen Hub Women's Tournament, Britt Baker versus Soho. Oh, actually, I gotta. Go ahead. Go ahead with yours. But I have a friend who made a well, not a friend, but a friend of the show who made a prediction, and I think he's right. So go ahead with yours.
So I think Ruby's going to win it, and I think she's going to get a major push.
I agree that I think Ruby's going to win, but here's why. Hazard F5, I saw he tweeted this out the other day. He predicts that Jamie Hayter is going to cost Britt Baker the win, and then that's going to lead into a program with those two. So I agree. I think Ruby Soho will win, but it will be because Jamie Hayter will cost Britt Baker the win, and that protects Britt because she's another one that they are and should be protecting because she's one of their homegrown stars, one of the first, one of the pillars, if you will. And it's been a long time coming. They've been hinting at Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker for months.
Yeah, I think it would be a missed opportunity to not have Ruby win so she could finally get her push.
Yeah, because, I mean, the crowd loves her everywhere they go. And it makes sense. It makes sense for either one of them to win, but I think in this case, for her to be the first one, I think for the first tournament, you have to have babyface winners. In fact, pretty much for any Owen Hart Foundation tournament, I think you pretty well have to have a babyface winner.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, it is a charity organization.
I don't think it makes sense for the first time it'd be a heel.
Definitely not the first time. I agree. So that's another reason. But shout out to Hazard F5 on Twitter, the belt aficionado. Yeah, I think he's 100% right that Jamie Hayter's going to interfere and cost Britt Baker the win. Any other thoughts on the Owen Hart tournament ladies final?
No, sir.
Cool. Now we move on to the men's final of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. We got Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole. And I'm not going to lie, I don't give a shit who wins this one. It's going to be fucking awesome.
This is one of the matches I'm more excited about than anything else, to be honest. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure in Ring of Honor they have worked together a little bit already.
I believe so.
So they already have knowledge of each other. They've already have in-ring experience with each other, even though it's been a while.
Well, and then they work together in NXT.
They're both great in-ring competitors. That they did.
Yeah, in NXT.
They have so much great in-work capability. I think, in my opinion, that could be match of the night. Now, who I think is going to win? I got my heart going with Samoa Joe.
I do too, and only for the fact that I think for the first tournament, especially, I think a babyface has to win. Not saying they can't work with an Adam Cole victory. I think it would be kind of in poor taste. And even though I like Adam Cole as a wrestler, right now he's a heel, and it doesn't feel right. Now I do
especially
think
as like a charity thing.
Yeah,
I agree. I think Samoa.
Yeah. Now I do think Samoa Joe's going to have to fight from underneath due to interference from the Undisputed Elite, but I think he will still persevere. So that'll be one to watch.
Or something I could see Undisputed Elite try to come out, and then Darby and Sting come out to fight them off, to not interfere.
Yep. Especially if Kyle O'Reilly wins due to Undisputed Elite interfering in their match.
Yes.
So I think this is going to build as the night goes on. But anyway, now we have probably what is legitimately the most anticipated match of tonight. MJF versus Wardlow.
You know, and I hate to say it because it's always in the contract type matches. 9 times out of 10, the person that has the contract on the line wins. So we haven't figured out Wardlow's going to win.
You're saying you think he will win?
Yes. I think Wardlow's going to win just because he's too big of a superstar on the show to not let him win and then push him away. Unless his contract's on the way of being up.
Well, even that doesn't make sense because the stipulation is that Wardlow has to win to get out of his contract with MJF.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, I forgot about that now. Yeah, I agree.
Now, the only way, and again, I 100% agree, Wardlow's too over. He's not going anywhere. The only way they could make this work, really, let's say hypothetically Wardlow was leaving. The only way they could make this work would be to have MJF win, but then fire him, which would make no sense. Because that's what Wardlow wants.
Yeah.
So, any way you slice it, if MJF does win in any way, shape, or form, I will audibly groan because just from a story perspective, it makes no fucking sense. And plus, I think it's time. And if MJF is going to lose to anybody, it makes sense for it to be Wardlow.
Yeah, because they have so much history together already that it is now. Why not finally stir the pot that way?
I agree, and if MJF is going to do the job, and it'll be, he's going to cheat in every way imaginable. I thought, by the way, did you watch his Wardlow versus Shawn Spears with MJF as the referee?
I did, and I did not expect for MJF to get bumped like he did.
Right?
I felt like MJF was like have to like groan and be like, I've got to count to 3, and then finally hit that 3, and then Wardlow like destroy MJF.
Well, he's not allowed to touch him. Remember that. I was not.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
I was not ready for the biker shorts though. That had me fucking rolling.
He really made me think of.
He had you thinking what?
He made me think of Shawn Michaels when he wore the shorts like that.
Fuck, you're right. I mean, but here's the thing. That's how you can do comedy. Because that was funnier than shit, but it didn't take me out of the moment because that is so something MJF would do. I mean, that was so funny. And then just, I mean, that was phenomenal heel work.
By both of them.
Exactly, by both of them. And like the nut shot, he was blatant about everything he did. And Wardlow goes for the first cover, and MJF gets down and then just goes like this. Like, it's perfect.
Honestly, you know who? It reminds me of when Dean Ambrose did it, when it was AJ and Ellsworth. When he sat there and he just sat there with his hands like this.
You know, I always did wonder why a heel, like, special referee would ever even count at all. And MJF didn't. It's fucking beautiful. And then the callback to when Wardlow couldn't find the ring, MJF couldn't find the key for the handcuffs. It was beautiful.
Yeah, the storyline wise, it made sense.
Yeah, this is one that they've been doing phenomenal. There's never really been a misstep on this one that I can think of. So kudos to this. I think Wardlow's going to beat the shit out of him. Alrighty. Any other final thoughts on Wardlow versus MJF?
No, not at all. Not on that one.
No, it'll be a pretty straightforward one. Next, we have a match that I would have been really excited for about 3 years ago. And actually a match that we've already seen if you're a Ring of Honor fan, which I've got no problem seeing it again. We've got the Young Bucks versus the Hardys.
Oh, gosh. After what they did last week when they tried to, or was it this week? Portray the Hardy brothers.
It was on Rampage, yep.
Yep.
And you know what? I'm going to give credit where credit's due to the Young Bucks because I thought to myself at first, I was like, oh, you know, I get what they're doing, and yeah, it's funny, but I've never really liked... It depends on who's doing it, but when somebody's impersonating another wrestler and they're having a legitimate match and they just copy the other wrestler, I roll my eyes a bit because it's like, okay, but it's still a contest, and when you're doing it this way, it's phony. But the Bucks, they were copying some of the Hardy stuff, but when they were getting, when the other team was getting offense and they were strictly Young Bucks offense. It was when they were in control that they were goofing around, and I liked that. That was a good piece of business, as people in the business would say, because it made sense. Like, yeah, they're out, and it's not a serious threat to the Young Bucks, but if they're getting offense, if they're on the defensive mode, they're going with Young Bucks offense. It's when they're in control that they're goofing around and doing the Hardy stuff.
Yeah.
So I liked that, and I'm torn on what they did with Brandon Cutler.
Yeah,
where he was dressed up like Lita.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, okay, now I remember that one.
I get what they were doing, and it was funny, but I'm not gonna lie. If I'm Brandon Cutler, I'm like, guys, I get it that I'm the butt of the joke, and that's fine, but this is too far. I'm still a wrestler. I'm still. It wasn't necessary. It's almost like they're seeing how far they can bully Brandon, like legitimately. And I know I hope they're not doing this, but it wasn't necessary. It was too much. He already had Gangrel. Like,
Honestly, with this match, I think the Hardys are going to come out on top.
Yeah, I do too.
Unless they try to push the storyline even farther.
And I'm torn on this because on the one hand, I think it makes sense for this go around for the Hardys to come out on top, but then at the same time, it's not burying the Young Bucks, but when's the last time the Young Bucks had like a legit win? Like a legit high profile win, I should say, because they've won matches, but you know what I mean. When the stakes are high, and this was the problem. This is what the EVPs got in well, they didn't get in trouble, but this is why Tony Khan took back total creative control, because the EVPs kept booking themselves to lose, and they were the stars at the time. This was years ago. Yeah. This was like 2 years ago, but still, like Tony Khan actually said, it's like, no, listen, like I get and I love what you guys are doing, and I love that you want to do that you want to put other people over, but you're the elite, and this is all elite wrestling. You're the stars. You're what the company was built on. Them and Jericho. But, and Cody oh, go ahead.
Sometimes you got to take credit when credit is due. Sometimes you got to take credit where credit is due, and, like, sometimes you have to book yourself into positions to lose, and that's okay, but then like you got to think, like, when you're over and you're booking yourself to lose, it's almost making yourself look bad.
Well, that's what he was saying, and I think Cody, and I understood where Cody was coming from, because this was his idea, or at least he said it was his idea, to have the stipulation where he couldn't compete for the world title. That was his idea, and I think that was a mistake, because Cody could not rise above the TNT, basically. And I think that's part of why he got bogged down in those kind of meaningless feuds, because he couldn't go any higher. And he's the son of a plumber. He's the son of the one, the only, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, the brother of the Natural, Dustin Rhodes. Yeah. Like, he should be in a world title picture wherever he's at some point, and he shot it in the fucking foot. I get what he was doing, but again, that would kind of be like, it would be different if, I'm not trying to pick on Brandon Cutler, but if Brandon Cutler had started All Elite Wrestling, it wouldn't have made sense for Brandon Cutler to book Brandon Cutler to win. But, if Cena started a wrestling promotion, why would you have John Cena booked to lose in any wrestling promotion right out of the gate?
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. It's basically shitting on your own character.
Well, and the legacy of everything else that you've done, because essentially what that's saying is like, oh yeah, you guys were dominant in New Japan and all over the wrestling world, but then you get here in your own company and you hire tag teams that nobody's heard of, and they kick the fucking shit out of you.
Yeah.
But then you get FTR in, and then you kick the shit out of them, so now it doesn't make any fucking sense. But speaking of sense, you like that segue? Our official sponsor for tonight's podcast, Stevie Wicks Cool Beans Candle Company. I'm telling you guys, and yes, they're paying us, but I'd say this anyway. I said this for free for years. These are literally the highest quality, all-natural soy wax candles you can buy, and right now available on the website, they have the Hidden Treasure Candle, so check this out. You got a woman in your life, you want to get a twofer and score some major brownie points, get her one of these bad boys. Not only is this a hell of a good candle, and you can pick from one of, I believe, 40 some odd scents. This particular one is frosted cranberry. That's really quite good. But the hidden treasure candles, say that fast 3 times, contain a piece of semi-precious stone jewelry inside that as you burn your candle, the hidden surprise reveals itself. So you can get a twofer, guys. Anniversaries, birthdays. It's not Valentine's Day and there's no romantic holidays. Or just because, like, you're in the doghouse, you got caught doing something you weren't supposed to, have this bad boy on standby. It probably won't get you out of trouble, but it can't hurt, right?
Yeah.
StevieWicks.com. That's StevieWix.com. Link is in the description below, except I think it's not in the live description, but I'll put it on there when we're off the air. Anyway, next match, unless you have any final thoughts on Hardys versus the Young Bucks.
No, I just think the Hardys are going to win.
I do still want to see Edge's idea. So Edge needs to come to AEW once and tag with Christian so it could be the Young Bucks versus the Old Fucks. That's right out of Edge's mouth, and that's actually something he said before he was able to come back to the ring. So, next we have this match is either going to be really fucking cool or really fucking stupid, and I honestly don't know which. We have what do they call it? Actually, it was funny. Excalibur fucked this up on Rampage. He said they were going to have the Arena in Anarchy match. It's Anarchy in the Arena match. But we've got the Jericho Appreciation Society versus the Blackpool Combat. Yeah, no, somebody didn't read their notes there, pal. But we have the Jericho Appreciation Society versus the Blackpool Combat Club, along with Eddie Kingston and Proud and Powerful. It's going to be another Stadium Stampede, but see, on this one I'm torn because when it was the Inner Circle versus the Elite, where their like stables or factions were at that time, they could afford to be a little silly. But the Blackpool Combat Club, along with Eddie Kingston and Proud and Powerful, have been being played pretty straight. That's why I'm afraid this is going to be a disaster, and not in a good way.
And first off, I think Chris Jericho and them, I think they're going to win. Because they lost the first go around when they had like their Stampede match, so I feel like this is going to be their win. But I could see it being a cluster too.
Oh, it's going to be a cluster.
But there's a lot of great competitors in the area, so I feel like it may run smooth a little bit.
Well, and the other thing too is that I don't think this is going to be live because again, it's another one of those like, at least not all of it. There are going to be parts of it that were going to be pre-taped, like just like the not Stadium Stampede. What do they call that? I can't remember, but anyway, I just don't know. Again, from a booking standpoint, it makes sense for them to have a match, but for this kind of match, I don't. What I'm hoping is that this will lead to a blood and guts match as the blow-off.
Yeah, I hope it does too.
Because I think that would be tremendous. But we'll see. And actually, I just want to take a moment to shout out. I fucking love William Regal, but am I the only one that pops hardcore every time he refers to Excalibur as Man in the Mask?
Oh man, the first time I've seen it, I laughed so hard.
So hard. And again, like, I wasn't big into PWG because I wasn't able to see. I'd seen a couple of the DVDs back when they were like not new, but you remember when it was like all about PWG because there was literally nothing else other than WWE. But I've never really been a big fan of Excalibur. I think the mask is stupid. I know he wore it when he wrestled, but to be there on commentary, you look like a fucking dork. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't really care for it either.
Well, and not only that, as other people have pointed out, it would be one thing if when they debuted they were like, yeah, this is Excalibur. He wrestled in he wrestled for and was a co-founder of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla in California. He's known the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and all these guys for years and helped shape their careers in one form or another for giving them a place to wrestle. And when I wrestled as a competitor, I wore a mask, so I'm continuing this tradition, blah, 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 blah. Instead, they just assumed that everyone who was tuning into TNT at the time would know who this guy was, and I didn't know who Excalibur was. I looked it up on the internet because I give a shit, but...
Yeah.
And actually, my first thought was...
I had no idea who he was.
Well, honestly, you know what? My first thought when I saw him on the mask, I was like, oh, that's Marky.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough shitting on Excalibur. I too think the Jericho Appreciation Society will somehow win, and I hope that it leads to a blood and guts match at the, which for all you who don't know is AEW's version of War Games. But they can't say War Games, so they call it Blood and Guts. That was one of the trademarks that Cody couldn't get. Alrighty. Anyway, next, and as you can probably tell, this pay-per-view is going to be long, because I'd say that's probably a little bit past the halfway point, but not by much. Is going to be a long one. The next match, we have Jade Cargill defending the TBS Championship against Anna Jay for some reason. I don't think Anna Jay is ranked high enough. Actually, you know what? That's a good point. I'm going to check the rankings and see where Anna Jay falls. Because remember, everyone, wins and losses matter in AEW. Oh, I think we lost Bryon. We did. I will look this up while we wait for Bryon to join us again. Sorry, folks, technical difficulties. Like I said, I will look these rankings up for you. Yes, I want to see these rankings. So as of right now, the AEW women's rankings, as of, it looks like it was 3 days ago, Thunder Rosa and Jade Cargill are champions. So ranked number 1 is Serena Deeb, which makes sense because she is challenging for the AEW Women's World Championship. Nyla Rose is ranked at number 2, and Anna Jay is ranked at number 3. So I guess she's ranked well enough. Technically, shouldn't it be Nyla Rose? But I don't know. Trying to help Bryon get back in. We may have to start a new meeting here real quick. Just bear with us for a moment. The internet's is fun like that. While we are sorting this out, I gotta say I'm a big Jade Cargill fan. So I think she's going to win, personally. I wouldn't be shocked if Anna won, though, because Jade's been pretty well running through all of her... There he is! There he is! I've been stalling for you, buddy. I've been stalling for you, don't worry. I did look it up, and...
Oh, you're good.
And Anna Jay is apparently ranked number 3, but Nyla Rose is ranked number 2. So, I guess she's ranked high enough to go for a title shot. And I was just sharing that I think and hope Jade will retain, but I wouldn't be shocked if Anna Jay won just because Jade's pretty well gone through just about everybody. But I also don't think this is the time to take the title off.
Yeah.
I also don't think this is the time to take the title off Jade, though, because she just started that whole thing with the baddies and getting herself a little group going. So it would kind of get cut short with her not being in such a dominant position. And now she would just be hanging out with the baddies for no reason, you know?
Yeah, I think it's too soon for her to take the title off.
Yeah, maybe by Full Gear. Because we got maybe All Out because we've got Revolution before All Out, right? Am I thinking about that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe by All Out, but anyway, who's your prediction?
I think Jade will keep it.
I do too. Plus, Anna Jay has all the time in the world. She's still really, really young. She's over. Like she'll be fine. She'll eventually be TBS champion for sure. I just think not today or tomorrow, rather. Literal tomorrow, not the metaphorical tomorrow.
Yeah. I think it's just
I would one of these days like to end up seeing Ty versus Anna for the TBS title. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think they'd have a pretty good match.
Well, and you can tell a story whether it's Ty's become a heel pretty well, not a particularly good one, but I think they're just kind of riding the wave. They're kind of riding the wave with that one. Oh, well, if you don't have anything to add, we've only got 3 matches to go, but unfortunately these will Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm listen to what you have to say.
Oh, no, you sounded like you had a point.
No.
Alrighty. Well, hopefully I'll still be awake by this point in the pay-per-view because we got 3 matches left, but these are probably going to be the longest ones. Save for that Anarchy in the Arena match. That's going to go way too long, I guarantee. But next, we have Jurassic Express defending their AEW World Tag Team Championships, against Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, otherwise known as Team Taz, but they're not labeled as Team Taz, and Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. I honestly think that Starks and Hobbs are going to win it.
I can agree with you on that one. I don't think Jurassic Express is going to beat the tag titles. I think they're Powerhouse Hobbs and his tag partner is. I think they're getting a push as a tag team because they don't really have a singles route going right now for them.
Mm-hmm. And not that I don't dislike Swerve Strickland. I keep wanting to call him Swerve Scott. I don't dislike Swerve and Keith Lee, but I will say this, and again, this is not a knock. I don't understand how into a lot of the fans are with those guys. I don't see it.
Yeah, I think I can agree with you on that one. I don't think the fans are 100% with him yet either.
It seems like they are, because if Keith Lee fucking farts in a hallway, people cheer. I'm sorry.
That's true.
I love the delay because I said it and then I'm just waiting for the laugh because I know it's coming. I mean, I think at some point Keith Lee will probably hold titles. I get it, but I just don't. Very much the same with Danhausen. Like I get it, but I don't get it. Like they're obviously very popular, but I couldn't tell you why necessarily.
Yeah.
Like for example, that I was gonna say Bryan Danielson, but that's obvious. Like I can tell you why Hook's over. I can explain that in seconds. They've been letting it stew for a long time. He's been present on television, and everybody was wondering what he could do. And then they give him an awesome debut and an awesome set of follow-up matches without doing too much. He's not on TV every week. People get to anticipate what he does, and he has delivered for the most part. I can't, and I only say for the most part to cover my ass, because I can't think of anything that I've seen him do where I was just like, ooh. You know, I get why Hook's over. Again, I'm not knocking Keith Lee and Swerve, but I don't.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'm calling for Starks and Hobbs because it's about time for Hobbs to get a belt.
Yeah, I could agree on that one. Yeah, I think it's time for Hobbs to get a belt too.
Agreed. So, hopefully nobody dies in that match because some of the stuff they do, I swear, it's not safe. But anyway, next we've got Thunder Rosa defending her AEW Women's Championship against Serena Deeb. Now I'm saying this as a Thunder Rosa fan because I'm a big Thunder Rosa fan. I have not liked her championship run at all.
I don't think it's meant anything yet. I don't think it was. I'm not saying she wasn't ready.
Oh no.
I think I think timing wasn't. I don't think she was booked in the right direction as the world champion.
I think she was ready, but I think there were some decisions that were made for the match where she won that took some of her steam away because there were some obvious, I don't want to say mistakes. Things did not go as planned a couple times in that match, and they covered as best they could, but you can't cheat gravity, so. And then they haven't really done much with her as champion. And I think that's why I haven't liked the run. Because let's face it, since she's won the belt, what's she done? I can't think of anything.
I don't know either.
That's what I'm saying. It seems like a real slow burn. And I for that reason, I think Thunder Rosa is going to win. Just because, again, Serena Deeb kind of came out of nowhere. And I know the rankings and all that, but this is the only... And I don't get me wrong, I like the rankings and I like the fact that wins and losses matter, but sometimes it seems like someone will walk into the creative meeting and be like, hey, guys, just so you know, Serena Deeb's technically ranked number 1, so she should probably go for the title. And then they're like, fuck, we haven't done anything with her. She's been winning a bunch on Dark Elevation. And when they did it with Britt Baker, they did it intentionally, and it made sense because then they were thinking, okay, we want Britt Baker to get...
I think Thunder Rosa... That's who my pick is. I think Thunder Rosa is going to get the win on that one.
Yeah, I think so. But like, just to finish the point, then we can move on. Like when they did it with Britt Baker, where she was on Dark and Dark Elevation all the time, that made sense because they were like, okay, we want Britt Baker to go for the title next, but she's not up in the rankings, so she has to get wins. And we also want to feature her a lot because we want her in people's minds. And they haven't been doing that with Serena Deeb lately, with the exception of the stuff with Sheeta, which, they were good, but, I think it'll be a good match, and I think Thunder Rosa will win. But hopefully this turns her championship reign around.
In the right direction.
Yeah. So, finally, the main event of the evening. We have Hangman Adam Page defending his AEW World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk. This one gonna be good.
So, this show's in Chicago, right? Or no?
No, this is in Vegas.
So I don't think CM Punk's going to get the win on this one.
Nope, I don't either.
I think Adam Page is going to get this win, and then I think CM Punk will get his revenge the following pay-per-view.
The following pay-per-view being Forbidden Door or the next AEW pay-per-view?
Next AEW.
Yeah, by then maybe. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that Adam Page will... If Punk's going to lose to anyone, it ought to be the AEW Heavyweight Champion.
Next. Yeah.
And it'll do nothing but help Page, and it'll be a hell of a match. And I think, because again, Punk doesn't need the title. Page... Well, I shouldn't say Page needs the title, but giving Punk the title does nothing for Punk and it does nothing for the title. But Page retaining the title does something for the title and it does something for Page.
Not at all.
Yeah. Because Page is going to win and be like, oh shit, he beat CM Punk clean. So he really is the champ.
Yeah, and I think that'll really help with the perspective of the crowd too. Of like, yeah, Adam Page is the real deal.
Yep, which I've known from the beginning. Like, I think if you've been sleeping on Adam Page up to this point, you ain't paying attention.
Yeah.
But now my prediction. So there were rumors, and I think they're wrong, but there were rumors that Kenny Omega was going to make an appearance after Page's win. I don't think Omega's coming back until Forbidden Door, but I think he will be back at Forbidden Door. Or at least that's what they were planning. Now, he may not be able to come back yet medically, but I think that's what they were planning.
Yeah, and I think that would have been a good time for Omega to come back at Forbidden Door.
Well, and plus there was a tweet that Will Ospreay had put out where he tagged Omega in it, and he said, "Are you ready? You going to be ready for June?" And then Omega responded, "I guess the cat's out of the bag." So we might see Will Ospreay versus Omega at Forbidden Door. I anticipate also that at some point, probably during the tag team match, and I hope this doesn't happen, we might see interference from Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan again, which I really hope is not going to happen. Because for those of you who didn't watch on Dynamite, Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan ran in during... Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't. It was during FTR's match. Never mind. Wait, was it? No. No, it was during the... It wasn't the tag teams, but it was like a single from each tag team, I thought. think it was Jungle Boy versus Starks versus Strickland, I believe. And the New Japan guys ran in.
I'm not sure on that one.
I think that's what it was. And the New Japan guys ran roughshod on him. It's good seeing Jeff Cobb again.
Yeah.
But we shall see. And then I also think you will see... I think you'll see Jay White at some point during this pay-per-view too. Just to plug the Forbidden Door pay-per-view coming up in June.
Yeah, I could see that happening too.
Righty. Well, that would be it for the card of Double or Nothing. I don't anticipate very many surprises other than the New Japan stuff because, frankly, this pay-per-view is going to last forever.
It's definitely going to be a late one for everybody.
I'm legitimately concerned, man, because I'm going to be in one of those reclining theater seats, and I might just lose consciousness. Especially later in the night. I'm kind of regretting, honestly. I'm kind of regretting doing the theater thing. I'll let you guys know how it is. And if you're going to be there, if you watch the show and are happen to be at the same theater I am, Showplace 17 on the south side of Indianapolis, I will be wearing my Down the Middle shirt. So come up and say, hi, I watched the show. Fuck you. I don't care. Just make your presence known. I can go heel or babyface, baby. Just do me a favor. Don't throw anything wet at me. I'm going to be there for hours. Anyway, you got anything to add to this, or?
I've got absolutely nothing to add.
He's got nothing to add. You know what that means? It means show's over. We're done. Go home.
Bye, guys.
Go home.
Go home.
And we'll go over the results, which you guys will already know them, but you'll get to hear our opinion of the results on the next podcast 2 weeks from today. So, but if you want to argue with us presently, you can comment on this video, or you can reach us on the Twitter machine at Down the Middle Podcast on Twitter. I think the actual username is Down the Middle P, with capital P, because we mean business. Anywho, this has been Down the Middle Podcast. As always, thank you so much for checking out the live stream if you have, or checking out the just the videos in general on the YouTube channel. And thank you also in advance for purchasing from our great sponsor this week, Stevie Wicks Cool Beans Candle Company. I'm telling you guys, you can get a single box of candles down as little as 1 or as many as 4. Single box, or you can subscribe and get one every month shipped to your door. You don't have to mess with it. It's fantastic, and they smell phenomenal. Your house will not smell like a shit pool anymore. I guarantee that. And if you enjoy listening to us rather than looking at us, but let's face it, we're fucking beautiful. But if you're visually impaired, you can check out the audio streaming platforms on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Now, Anchor.fm, Audible. I always forget the last one, but it doesn't matter because the big ones that you listen to have already been spoken for. You can also support the podcast directly by visiting the Anchor.fm page, where you can contribute if you want to. You do not have to. You're under no obligation to do so because we have paid sponsors now, bitches. Or you can buy merch. Link is in the description below. And as always, check out XCW Wrestling, where my co-host, my cohort, Fryin' Lion, but never crying Bryon, is a star.
No, never crying Bryon.
That's it. We just found it. No,
Silent Bryon.
We just found it. Never crying Bryon.
Never crying Bryon. There we go. That one sticks. That one's good.
That's a goddamn t-shirt right there. Never crying Bryon. We found it. Until you do cry, then it'll be crying Bryon.
Let me get a picture with an old lady wiping off my tears because I'm not crying.
But there are no tears. That's the swerve.
Because it's sweat.
Perspiring, Bryon.
Inspiring Bryon, yeah.
Perspiring Bryon. Oh my God, I kill myself. That's a series of T-shirts. God damn it. Anyway, that is all. We hope you also enjoy and make it through Double or Nothing, because I'm legitimately worried. I'm gonna have a theater employee. I'm gonna have a theater employee shake me awake at 2 a.m. Be like, "You gotta go," and I'll be like, "How long have I been asleep?" It's like, you've been asleep for 3 hours, but the pay-per-view just ended. I'm like, fuck. Anyway. That is all we've got for tonight. Thank you once again for joining us. We will see you again in 2 weeks.